What's up, guys? Welcome back to Reject Filmz, back with another review for you guys from the Warner Archive collection. It's been quite some time since I've done one of these Warner Archive titles, and this is one I've actually been wanting to check out for a while. I got these in for review quite a while back, so I was real excited to check this one out. Just watched this last night, and stars Mark Hamill from a little-known film called Star Wars, and Annie Potts from another small movie called Ghostbusters, who plays the receptionist in that movie, and Mark Hamill plays some guy in Star Wars. I can't remember. Some sky guy or something. I don't know. And more importantly, though, he does play Cockknocker in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, so that's awesome. Anyway, that is Corvette Summer. This is a pretty recent release from them. Came out a couple months ago or so. Yeah, basically it's Mark Hamill's character plays a young kid who's pretty much obsessed with cars, loves working on cars and things like that. He's part of the car club, shop class, whatever you want to call it, in high school. They take a little trip to the junkyard to find a car to restore and everything. He comes across this Corvette that they're getting ready to completely demolished, and he saves it from being completely destroyed. So they bring it back to the shop, fix it up, do some crazy things to it, put the steering wheel on the right side, like over in the UK or something. Put a weird, I'll try to throw a picture up here if I remember, but put the weird hood scoop thing on it that sticks up real high on one side and not so much on the other side, and I don't know, throw some crazy flames on it. I say there should be a photo up on one of these sides, hopefully, or this is going to be really weird. So anyway, they get the car done. They're taking it out around town as their field trip, I guess. The car gets stolen. He goes to track it down. He finds out from somebody that the car was spotted in Las Vegas. They're in California. He hitchhikes his way to Vegas, and I'll say hijinks pursue, but not really so much hijinks, because some of it just wasn't funny. But, there's troubles along the way. I'm trying not to give every single detail away, but, this movie's from 1980-something, or 1978. So, if you're like me and you haven't seen it yet, then might want to close your ears a little bit, but anyway, finds out that it's stolen by a group of professional car thieves. He's kind of warned to back down, back away, and or things might happen to him. And of course, he refuses to do that. He's just determined to find this car and get this car back. He's just really passionate about it. And along the way, he meets Annie Potts' character, who is supposedly like a hooker, and you don't really see too much hookage, I guess, who's going to Vegas to become like a professional prostitute, and they become friends and things like that, and more later on in the movie. But so you have them two, and him just constantly going off after this car, her kind of like forcing him to come sleep with him in her custom van instead of out in these U-Hauls he's using for shelter at night. You have the bad guys kind of after him once he realizes who's got the car and everything. Eventually, make a long story short, the bad guys pretty much convince him. I'm not going to give everything away. I'm not going to give the one little twist away, but eventually the bad guys get to him and get him to work for him for $850 a week or something like that, which, 1978, that's a lot. That's a lot of money now, but in 78, that's probably twice that. I don't know economy and stuff, but I'm sure that's a good, $1,500-$1,600 a week nowadays. So, yeah, that's pretty much the basis of this movie. Like I said, there is another twist in there I'm not going to give away. I thought this movie was going to be more about... I just kind of browsed over the synopsis, I thought it was about him like stealing this Corvette and going out and like having fun and stuff, but I was completely mistaken. So, but not disappointed. I still enjoyed the film. There was a couple parts that kind of, I'm just like, really? There's a part where he gets captured by the bad guys. He's hiding in a barrel of oil or whatever, and gets out. Finally, Annie Potts' character gets a hold of him, and she's spraying him down, and she's like, "What, did you go to the cops?" And I'm just like he had time to go to the cops. He's running away. He's covered in oil. That part just like, really, what? And then there's an end scene where they're in the desert. They're in Nevada, and can't talk. Extremely tired, but and he's got the T-tops off on the Corvette. The other guy's got the windows down on his car. I can't remember what kind of car it was. I don't remember. And I'm just thinking, like, all this dust and dirt is getting inside their cars. They're just getting covered in the stuff. There's no way they can see what is going on. But, you know, it's a movie. To me, if I was driving real fast through these desert roads and everything, I would have the windows up and keeping that stuff out of my face. But, it's movies, you know. So, anyway, I'm not going to tell you what happens at the end or anything. I'll leave that for you guys to check out. Like I say, I'm not going to give everything away. I don't want to spoil the whole thing for those who have not seen it. I will try to leave a trailer at the end of this video, or if nothing else, a link to the trailer. But, I'm sure I probably threw some pictures up somewhere. I'm going to make this one pretty quick, because it's a pretty simple story. I mean, you do have kind of like a love connection between the two characters. You got him kind of having to make some real important life decisions here. Is this the path he wants to take to work for these criminals and work on stolen cars and things like that? Even though he gets to do what he loves doing, working on the cars and getting paid a lot of money, he kind of changes there for a little bit and tells her that, I'm making all this money, and kind of offends her a few times, because at this point they're kind of a couple, and he's like even offering her money to perform certain acts, and she's pretty disgusted by that, because at this point, like I say, they're kind of together. And there's parts I did like the parts where he's kind of going around town taking up different jobs as like a valet, working at a car wash, things like that, to try to track this car down this whole time. Back then, you had very limited resources. You didn't have the cell phones, the computers, and stuff you do nowadays to be able to do this stuff. So you really had to go out and work for things. There's a couple of things that take place where he gets his part-time job at this gas station to help. He kind of gets busted staying in the U-Haul, so the guy offers him a job to repay it, I guess, or he just liked his style, I guess. That's what it was. And he gets a job there, and the guy's trying to scheme people, putting Alka-Seltzer in their batteries, and he's not really going for it. He feels bad for these people. They don't really have a lot of money. I guess that stuff's supposed to be kind of funny, but it kind of fell flat for me. Maybe back in '78 it was funny, but nowadays, not so much. But anyway, yeah, there's a few characters they run into along the way. Like I say, I'm not going to describe everything. You guys just have to watch the movie. I think it's worth picking up just for, to see a young Mark Hamill and Annie Potts. I mean, she looked pretty darn good in this movie, too. I can't remember if she did in Ghostbusters or not. It's been so long since I've seen that movie. But, like I say, definitely worth checking out, especially on the 4 for $44 sale. If you guys are looking for something to add in there to get that fourth movie or something, I recommend throwing this one in just to get that deal or whatever. It's not one I say I would run out and pay full price for, but like I said, they run those sales a few times a year, so it's definitely a title worth adding to the collection at some point. And I don't remember if it was very long. It's runs some odd minutes. 100. Actually, I guess it was kind of long. It was 104 minutes, but it was constantly going though. Something was constantly happening. Especially between him and the bad guys. So it went by pretty quick, and I loved like the beginning of this. Like really took me back to when I was a kid in the late 80s, early 90s. You know, well, I was born in the early 80s, but you know, in the 80s and 90s when you could just ride in the back of a pickup truck or ride on the trailer with the car and walking through the junkyard brought back so many memories from when I was a kid. And you could just, even when I was like 16, 17 years old, you know, looking for parts for my cars, you could just walk into any junkyard and just walk through, and they had all kinds of stuff, anything you could ever want. Nowadays it's like you either ordering everything or you're going in and telling them what you need and they got to go get it. I think there might be a couple places left where you go pick your own parts. I don't know if they have those pick-a-part locations anymore. Haven't really heard anybody talk about them. Of course, with nowadays vehicles, it's kind of hard to do that kind of stuff. But, you know, it just, you can't even ride in the back of a truck without getting pulled over and all that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of sad how society has gotten away from just being a kid and being young and having fun, and you're not hurting anybody. Yeah, it's kind of dangerous. You fall off or whatever, but you're just hurting yourself. I mean, you're not really hurting anybody else. I don't know. I remember riding in the back of trucks all the time, even down the highway or whatever. But, you know, times change. Things happen. But, yeah, I was trying to keep this about 10 minutes. Went a little over because I was reminiscing about back in the day. But, yeah, again, guys, Corvette Summer, 1978, Mark Hamill, Annie Potts. Take a look at the disc art. No, it's not the same as the front. Of course, these are always made on demand disc from the archive there. Audio video quality was really good. It kind of started out a little fuzzy, and a couple spots are kind of pixely or whatnot. But overall, very good picture. I'd give it probably about a 4 out of 5 on the video quality. Audio could have been a little bit better, probably 3.5 out of 5 on that. But Warner Archive always delivers, you know, great transfers. I know I don't normally rank the audio video quality, but I figure maybe that's something I'll start doing. And yeah, let me know if you guys have seen this movie. Comment down below what you guys think of it. What's your favorite Mark Hamill movie? Annie Potts, I don't really know a lot of her movies. I didn't even look it up on IMDb. I know I've seen Mark Hamill in quite a few things, and I always enjoy his work. I know he did the voices of the Joker and the Batman animated, which is some of the better animated Batmans. So he's definitely been doing a lot in the industry, you know, his whole career. So yeah, that's going to do it for this review, guys. Like, dislike, whatever you guys choose. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, love, happiness to everybody, and bye. Give me the keys. I'm gonna try to take 'em in the red love machine.